Hi, my name's Nicole, and I'm a fake fan.
Hi, Nicole. Hi, my name's Calvin, and I am a fake fan of a lot of the grand old Hollywood films. I have a book of MGM celebrities over there, and I bet I can't name most of the movies or have seen any of them, so I'm a deep fake fan.
Hi, Calvin.
Hi, my name's Triston. I'm a fake fan. I've only seen movies in the Barbie cinematic universe.
Yes!
You know, Barbie and the Nutcracker. Barbie of Swan Lake was my favorite. My guilty pleasure was the Barbie Diaries.
No, that one was actually super good, like, not even kidding.
Oh my god.
Hi, Triston. This is a freaking train wreck, and it's because I'm sorry.
Oh, I got that off my chest.
This week we watched CoverGirl from 1944, Columbia Pictures. And this is one of the grand old Hollywood musicals of the time. I think if I remember correct from Wikipedia, it said it was like one of the most popular.
Yeah.
It stars Rita Hayworth and Gene Kelly, among a lot of other people. And this is about the value of love against, wealth. And this is part of that whole, this is the middle of World War II, I don't know what part of the year this film comes out, but I mean, D-Day was literally June 1944.
There definitely are some, obvious overtones. I think it was when all the girls were dressed up like different careers, and they were talking about, like, rations and, like, how their legs are going to be hidden by cotton because they can't have silk anymore because of the rations. And then just different things like materials that they couldn't have, and like that was kind of sung about in the song. And then obviously you have them performing for soldiers.
This came out in March of 44, so it was before D-Day,
Oh.
so
Right in it.
hadn't hit that turning point yet. We needed this morale boost from these girls. Yes! These Barbie girls!
Oh my god.
Like with Frank Capra, he often focuses on the American everyman, the American good American central value kind of thing. In this film, I saw kind of a similar thing. I mean, it's not exactly like a purely American thing, but it's kind of like Aladdin kind of thing where it's not about the wealth, it's about the love. It's about, love can't be bought kind of thing. It's about these deeper value deeper values, Triston, deeper values of love, and it can't be bought. Okay.
4 payments in $19.99.
We have to go around and say whether or not we've seen this before. Nicole, are you a fake fan of this film and Rita Hayworth?
Yes.
I too am a fake fan of Rita Hayworth and this film. Triston, are you a fake fan of Rita Hayworth in this film?
Yeah, I'd never heard of... I think I'd heard of Rita Hayworth before today, but I'd definitely never heard of this movie until today.
I think if you are someone who is a fan of the celebrities of Hollywood, especially like of this golden age, and you are a fake fan of them all because you just haven't seen really all the films that make them the stars that they were, that's why I tie them all together. Like, you may, for the people listening, you may not have ever really heard of Rita Hayworth or specifically this movie, but if you have been like, oh yeah, I love the glamour of the 60s and the 50s and the 40s, and I love all this like beautiful fashion clothing and all that, you're dipping in closer and closer into the fake fan world of the fact that you just don't even know the context of how these people become the stars they are and all that stuff. So that's why we watched it. Nicole, what'd you think about this film?
I thought it was super amazing, like, right from the beginning. It was just super good and pretty. Like, honestly pretty. Technicolor, you can't beat it.
It's so iconic of this film look, and, I tweeted earlier that I don't enjoy colors enough. And partially that was because, like, I was watching some video essays about, like, Technicolor and the color process, and I legitimately just don't look at the color that much, or I haven't really been that conscious about color in the stuff I make or what I watch. So watching something in bright Technicolor, and especially watching this consciously, I remember in like one of the beginning sequences, you see all these people crisscrossing frame and all these extras in the background and all this stuff going on where you have Rita Hayworth in the center of it. But around her are all these people dressed in costumes. You got this guy in like a like a comically blue suit. Like, you just wouldn't wear that, I don't think, in real life, even at that time. You have these people in, like, other bright suits, like green, like mint green over there, and red dress over there. And those were conscious choices because they wanted to pop in the screen. They wanted to fill you with this colorscape. When you really see the beauty of it, the fact that there's a whole costume department putting that together, I love it. I love it. I'm blown away by the color choices in this film.
I thought the movie was pretty good. There's some things that I really liked in it. I really liked that Gene Kelly moment where he's like dancing with this ghost self. I really like that moment. I'm a huge fan, especially with musicals, of like ridiculously huge set pieces, ridiculously huge musical numbers. So that scene when she's on Broadway going down that giant ramp, I thought was awesome. And all the guys came and sang with her. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then the sentimental part of me was I really like the ending with the reprise of the song that they sing after the oyster place. But overall, I kind of wanted more of that, of the big, extravagant. I felt like a lot of the musical sequences, well, it makes sense because she's a stage actor. We're like on a smaller stage, and obviously Gene Kelly's place was pretty small. But I want bigger, you know? Bigger, like, I'm thinking like when we watch Sound of Music, I'm thinking like West Side Story, all those big moments in like the streets of New York, stuff like that, you know? Those are the kind of things that I really like.
I will say a lot of Hollywood musicals don't hit the spot for me. Like Singing in the Rain does, and West Side Story does, but West Side Story is like late 50s at that point, isn't it? And 60s even, yeah. And I guess for like a lot of these Broadway musicals, like a lot of times it just don't hit the mark for me. A lot of like they have great sequences in them, but I'm even like White Christmas is just enough. Like White Christmas is the closest I've gotten to like, wow, this is a great 40s musical. And I think CoverGirl was well put together. I think, you know, there wasn't like Singing in the Rain has that whole freaking dream sequence, that whole movie sequence of what's it called?
Oh, the Broadway Melody.
The Broadway Melody. And I don't know how that fits. But in this one, we have tangents, but they work. And they fit in, like with the whole dance sequence from Gene Kelly v. Gene Kelly, where that's like we're trying to get into the mind of his character and how he's struggling with whether he should be more, you know, try to hold on tighter to Rita Hayworth or not. And that dream sequence in that sense is not a wild break. You know, it's all well kept together. I think everything was well kept together story-wise. Should we explain the storyline of this film at all? Is that something our podcast does?
I think last time that's why we recorded for like an hour.
You want to explain it?
Yeah, I think it was it's just a girl who she's working for Gene Kelly. She's a performer. I don't know if she's really an actor. She's
like
just
a club dancer.
Yeah, like a club dancer, singer. She auditions to be a cover girl of this magazine. She makes it. She becomes famous. And then the bigger industry sweeps her up and steals her away from her love and manager, Gene Kelly. But then she realizes that she has everything she wants, but not the man she loves, and goes back to him. I think I explained that right. That's right. Yeah.
Kind of like our last movie, you know. You can be a rich girl. Anyway, but it doesn't matter anyway. And the thing that does matter is love, and you find love in people like Gene Kelly and Clark Gable, really handsome men.
Yeah, they're just like me.
But I want to go back to that dream. It's not really a dream sequence. It's a psychological thing. I mean, so a lot of films from the 20s, Germany and whatnot, they had that kind of psychological filmmaking where the creatures of the mind, the things that are going on inside your head, are shown on screen. And this sequence with Gene Kelly dancing against himself is kind of hearkening back to that, I think. But it sounds weird when I call it like a psychotic sequence. It's
psychological.
A psychological dance sequence.
The one where they look at all the cover girls?
No. When he's dancing against himself.
Oh,
because we're looking into his mind about his insecurities and whatnot. I'm stunned by how they shot that, because to superimpose on the film process, you have to record a background footage separate from the thing that you're superimposing there, so that way they have like a low opacity to them, looking like a ghost. And you can do that with like the MGM monster in Poltergeist as like a stop motion creature with a totally blacked out background. No light would ever come from that part of the frame aside from the exact thing that you want to show up, which is the monster. But with a dancer, the dancer has to dance on a totally black background. And when you have that sequence where the camera's moving, it's panning, it's actually moving in and out, and you have to sync them all together. And with just the scale of where he's dancing, from the curb to the street to like on top of trash cans and jumping over people and stuff like that, that's insane, because each part that he has to jump on, each platform, each little bit has to have been rebuilt on like an all-black stage or something. And that's what just blew my mind. Plus, on top of that, the camera's moving. Like, they had the balls to like sync up camera movement for both shooting inside of the normal soundstage and on the blacked out soundstage. That's totally insane. I hope we all can appreciate how crazy they went for that scene. Any scenes that you guys found particularly fascinating?
But on the cover girl part, I really liked that because colors. And the colors are amazing. I feel like it is truly just like this showcase of that. Like, that was the point of this scene, to like impress everyone with colors, impress everyone with all these beautiful girls and this production design. It was just so perfect, and it was eye candy. Like, that's how I would call it. It's like there to make you feel super good about it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I really like the cover girl scene. I don't know. There's just something. It was just really pretty. Something like just really pretty about it, and I liked that. And then it led into the big set piece moment. I agree with you too, Calvin. The Gene Kelly scene, I think, was my favorite part of the movie. It was very impressive. I learned a little bit about filmmaking today, so thank you for that free lesson. And it was the ending scene that very much mirrored last week's ending scene.
How'd you guys think about the performances?
Gene Kelly's good. I don't know if he's one of my like favorite actors of the era. Then again, I don't know a lot of actors of the era, but I think he's pretty good. Like, again, he is strongest when he's dancing. Of course, he is like a god of tap dancing. I love it. That's another thing I liked about this. I love tap dancing. I love watching people tap dance. It's like mesmerizing to me. So that's when he's like at his peak. It's tap dancing.
Well, he is a performer, like the most extraordinary performer I think we've had ever. You just think about like his wide range of ability. The only weakness to him, I guess, in a general sense, is just acting. Like, it's not his acting that is his forte. Gene Kelly brings that level of extreme professional excellence, and that's why you hear about Gene Kelly making his cast members cry, and some of them are bleeding a little bit because he's pushing them to the limit. But I mean, you think about this era, you think about the celebrity status. I don't mean this to be dismissive or something of that nature, but it's like you have this extreme celebrity status, and they earned it by being this hardcore in their performance.
I don't want to hear it. He didn't serve in the war. He was making little tap movies while our men were dying. Save it, Gene Kelly.
I think too, back then, celebrity isn't like now, where like you almost have 24-hour access to like pictures, videos, everything like that. So like what you put out on the screen was like what people got, and so you wanted to make sure that they got your best, and not your best, but your co-star's best, because that still reflects on you. So I feel like that's probably why a lot of like those dancer types are like real hard asses, because they're like, this is my career, and this is the only way people see me do this career.
Yeah. That's their entire career. Like, they don't have an Instagram story to like explain things out on, or a Twitter feed to like also talk about.
Gene Kelly's Twitter would have been a mess.
What a nightmare. Life without Twitter. No thanks.
I love this. I had a genuine smile on my face for probably like 90% of the movie.
That's another thing I was thinking about. This movie made me... when you watch an old movie, it makes you nostalgic for movies that are just happy for the sake of being happy, versus like all pre-Cold War movies, pre-Vietnam. It's like movies can just be really sad now. There's no movies that are just like wholesome and happy and make you feel good walking out of it. Not that there are no movies like that, but this movie just felt like a kind of like a joy thing all the way through.
I mean, there is a academic theory of like after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, like that changes all of our art form and our culture. Like it's a lot more pessimistic. And then of course we have just like the Doctor Strangelove kind of filmmaker, like the entire world could end kind of stuff. And the Cold War is like full of that kind of repressed anxiety kind of filmmaking. And then maybe in the 90s you come back to like more giddy, like post-Cold War, we've beaten the Ruskies kind of filmmaking.
And then 9/11 happens, and it all goes downhill again.
Yeah,
have shit.
and now we have coronavirus. Like we're gonna have another wave of noir films and sad,
I
depressed
want
movies.
colors.
They're
Oh my god.
black and white movies are gonna be popular again. They're gonna take our colors away from us, dude.
Not my colors.
It is joyful. Like this film is joyful. It's like these filmmakers literally do not know what the atomic bomb would be yet. Like that's how joyful this filmmaking is, and it's beautiful. I mean, they build these giant set pieces to entertain. Nicole, how's it feel as a Hollywood fanatic to see a film like this?
Every time I watch a movie like this, like a really old movie, it kind of makes it feel like more complete.
Like you're getting closer to a fuller understanding of it all.
Yeah, just like I've watched it now. You know, I've seen CoverGirl, all my little Instagram pages I follow. I've seen CoverGirl on there a million times, but now I know the story. I can laugh about it. I know like everything that's happened. Like it just feels more complete.
Well, that's all for this meeting of the Fake Fans Anonymous.
I feel so much lighter now that I'm getting these movies off of my chest.
I love that.
For a lot of us, perhaps we kind of get in the realm of watching a lot of videos on our phone in the sense of like, oh yeah, I'm watching something. But you do have to kind of split that away from something like this, where you've got a company pouring millions of dollars into a giant production. They built set pieces to create a purposeful art, a whole performance. There's choreographers involved. You got to split your mind away and like say, I'm going to devote some time to just watch this experience, what they're giving me. And that is worthwhile.
Thanks for coming to this meeting. We have snacks in the back. We'll see you next week. Jody, I see you over there. Give me your number, girl.
Well,